Do you see Taylor Swift shredding scales? Wolfgang Van Halen on how people falsely perceive him through his father. Why shredding isn't important when making good music. It's about the song construction at the end of the day, for me, as it was for Dad. Wolfgang Van Halen spoke up about people who don't judge him on his merits, but through the lens of his legacy as Eddie Van Halen's son, and explained why there's not really much soul in shredding, using the example of Taylor Swift, who does fine without it. Being the child of a famous musician is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you could establish contacts and reach places most regular people will never have a chance to. On the other hand, no matter what you do and how talented you are, you'll always be judged. As a Nepo baby, Wolfgang Van Halen experienced this, but was able to rise above it and carve out a place for himself through hard work with his band Mammoth. However, people still tend to perceive him through the lens of his father, which often makes him see his contributions in a negative light. Speaking to Song Cake, Wolfgang noted that there's more to his musicianship than being somebody's son. He said, transcribed by Ultimate Guitar. I think that's the big thing where people tend to lose focus, especially when it comes to me. They just sit there and go, oh, it's not as, he doesn't play as well as his dad. Or, it's not as good as his Van Halen song. It's all focused on the fact that I might not be tapping well enough in their opinion or not playing well enough, rather than the fact that, hey, isn't it cool that I created this whole thing by myself with all these different pieces, all these different parts? It's about the song. Construction at the end of the day, for me, as it was for Dad, even though people seem to focus on the playing and the stuff, it's about creating the song, because if you don't have that, you just have shredding through scales, and there's not really much soul on that. Further, Wolfgang made it clear that shredding doesn't really benefit a song in any real, practical way. It can be useful or interesting, but what you really want in your song is emotion, something that will resonate with the audience. He used the example of pop queen Taylor Swift, whose audience adores every word she sings, and she doesn't shred at all. Do you see Taylor Swift shredding scales? I don't think so. She writes a song that makes you feel stuff. At the end of the day, if you got melody in a song that makes you feel things, makes you remember somebody you lost, makes you miss something, makes you think of being back home, at the end of the day, that's what a song is about. I mean, there's room for shreddiness and stuff, but at the end of the day, like I mentioned, that's what it's about for me.